Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Michael. Hope you're having a really great evening this December the 14th today, Saturday. I am back. Today is going to be a double feature stream. I did a stream this morning when I first woke up. We finished chapter 4 of the Data Structures and Algorithms in Python book, and then we started to take a peek at the reinforcement problems, and I ended up having to leave and head to an event, and we are back. Um, we are back here on stream. Let's go ahead and let the Discord know that we are live. All right. All right. Let's get the stream going on my. That's Deal. Welcome in. You're first one here for the late night vibe. Um, do you usually stream early on Saturdays? Um, Sometimes, yeah. Um, I usually will come on around 10 o'clock to noon or maybe 1 o'clock, and I'll stream. But I always give an announcement in the Discord. Hey feed, welcome in. Night. Are you just stopping in to say peace out, or you hanging out for a little bit? Okay. So last time, you guys, we took a stab at trying to um, write a binary search algorithm for our um, program here. So I'm gonna give it another go here. Okay, but first, would you guys rather see me try to write the binary search or try to do a couple of the reinforcement problems first? What do you guys think? Got smudge on my glasses. What would you guys prefer? Project work first or book work, reinforcement learning first? Because I cannot promise that we'll get to the latter of the either one we choose because it's gonna be late here. Okay. So we got binary search. Okay, let's try to do the binary search then. Okay, so we want to. I'm just gonna try to redo this function. So def find item by. So we're gonna find item by, and we're gonna need to provide a target value. Or our target, right? We're gonna need to provide a low, a high. Okay. And then we're going to provide a type equal to none. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if not type, no, if how do I want to write this? Hey Jonathan, how's it going? Appreciate you stopping in this evening. Thanks for joining me. If you want a cool project, make a dummy game and apply game theory to derive optimal decisions. That sounds cool. All right, so find item by. So we're gonna have provide a type flag. So what I want to do is, hey General Talks, thanks for stopping in tonight. How you doing? Good evening. What's up? Okay, so we're going to say we're going to put found item is equal to, we'll say an empty array here, like so, or we'll say it's a set. Found item, we're going to then say if type equal to quote item number, we're going to go ahead and do the following. If type is equal to item number, we want to do the following. If low is greater than high, right, we need to then pass over this function. If low is greater over high, we're going to pass no, low would be greater than high. This means that return none. Right? So if low becomes greater than high, that means that no item was found, and we return none. So meaning that if low is index 0, high, if low is index 1, high is 0, Jump Talk, I'm good. How about you? I just finished making a project. Awesome. What kind of project were you making, my guy? How's it going? All right. So if low becomes greater than high, we want to return none. So I'm going to go back to my binary search part of this, and I want to just reference that. So the interval is empty, no match. Yeah. So else, we're going to say that mid is equal to mid is equal to the low plus the high floor of 2, right? And then sorry guys, not remembering much. It's kind of a gotta wake up here. Okay, so we return if low is greater than high, we return false, else mid. If target is equal to data, mid return true at that point. If we do our search condition, boom. Okay, so let me just bring this over. like so, like so. Okay. So if target is equal to, um, we will say, uh, if target is equal to, so this is where we would put our sequence at mid, right? So, but for my sequence is going to be all items dot items. No, not dot items. Items like this, mid. If target is equal to this item dot item number, we're going to return if is equal to return true. We're going to, in this case, return the all items at the mid, right? We're going to return that item here. Elif target is less than the all items mid, right? Right, then we will turn the item number. Right. We are going to return. So if it's less than, this is on the left side, left half, we are going to return our find item by. We're then going to call target we're going to call low, and then we're going to call mid -1. And then we're going to say type equal item number. Now I could just say type equal type here, I think, because it's saved as my variable. I'm going to make this type key just to differentiate it from that type reserved word. I'll leave it at item number like that. Okay. I might make a task tracker project next, like you. I'm steal some of your code. No worries. I gotta revisit OOP concepts since I forgot most of them. Yeah, feel free to give it a go. That I will say the task tracker app. If I had to go back and revise it, I did mention this that in my demo of it that I found that when I went back and read it, I was like, why did I write it that way? There's such a much better way to write it. So take it with a grain of salt, with some of the overall structure of it. It obviously does what it's supposed to do, but looking back, I definitely could have improved on a lot of areas. For example, I'll give you one is there's a lot of overlap in design and functions, and necessary things are happening across both the main file and the import file when it really needs to be separate, like we have things in this case, where we really focused on for the item class making this so it could be actually independently used in someone else's program. If someone were to load this up, they could make items no problem and then do whatever they want with them. If they were to load up the task tracker application that I wrote and try to use and import just the classes that I wrote in their own function and program, they would probably, run into some issues because the the classes were tailored directly to that of the main program. And I found that with other users wanting to maybe use it, that was not the best approach. I needed to create a distinction, and allow these classes to be imported arbitrarily into like a program, into anyone's blank program, and be used and be able to be universally used, separate from the main.py function where I have. So now, like in my other one, I had the adding and the removal of items and everything happening within the item class. And I mean, it's cool and stuff, uh, but it was also storing all of the instances within the class itself for tasks, right? So if you'll see in the program that I wrote, you'll see right below the class tasks or task, right? There's going to be a blank list on technically on this line 5 that items that get created get appended to, and so then they are managed. So they're actually not managed within the main program itself. So um, they actually pull from that database in the class. So it kind of has some quirks in terms of, not super Pythonic, but it obviously performs and does what it's supposed to do. And it was a great project to learn, and I can tell that I did learn a lot just by me recognizing that, those little things that I can optimize better. I recently made an expense tracker project, similar version. Jordan Woods, hey, welcome back. Like, welcome. Journal talks. Oh, like OOP concepts. Not really mainly use lists and lambda functions. It was an assignment. Oh, I see. By the way, how long have you been coding for? My 12th grade teacher introduced me to Python 2 months ago. It was about 2 months. Oh, I want to get into OP so I can understand the live streams better. Definitely, if you can, take a peek at the Python crash course chapter on classes. That'll give you a great, introduction into it, and then try. I would say try to read chapter 2 of the um, of the data structures and algorithms book. So read the classes. It's like chapter 7 or something, or maybe it's chapter like 11 in Python crash course. Um, and then read chapter 2 in data structures and algorithms. The data structures and algorithms one is going to be a lot harder, I will say. It's going to be a lot harder, but it talks about, operator overloading. It talks about other types of dunder methods, and crucial things for operator overloading when it comes to dunder methods. But the Python crash course just doesn't really dive into because it gets a little bit complex. So yeah, give those two hand in hands a go, and take it easy with chapter 2. It can be a doozy. Just work through it slow and at your pace. All right. My first project was an exploit to bypass a target in Try Hack Me Labs. Oh, that's something I might need to focus on, I guess, like I rarely use imports and exports. Oh, interesting. All right, let's keep working here. Okay, so elif target is greater than all items items mid dot item number. Right, we're going to return find item by. We're going to use the target. We're going to use low, or sorry, we're going to use mid +1. We're going to use high. Then type key equals type key. Cool. This should be else actually, right? And we don't need this because it's self-explanatory actually. Can be inferred. That's the only other option. So we're going to not return so what are the time complexities of appending to lists and adding to sets? The time complexity for appending to lists and adding to sets depends on the underlying data structure operations. Here's the breakdown. Average case O of 1. When you append an item to a list, it's typically placed at the next available index in the list's memory. When the lists are worst case, when the list is allocated memory is full. Average case O of 1. Worst case. Okay, so it's most likely just going to be O of 1. So can you set append value, or is it add? You cannot use append on a set. Instead, you use add to add an element to a set. Okay, so return. So we will. We will return this here. We don't want to return item here. This is where we want to found item dot add this item. So I can't do this. It's set like that. There we go. What else? Return none. Is no item found. Okay. All right. Now okay, so we'll say like this. What about while okay, what do you guys think? So I'm trying. I need. So this is I think this is. We've got the function written right here for our overall binary search. Right. We've got it. We've got the groundwork done. But I need to now do another binary search across. I need to do another binary search across the other two lists of for sale items and sold items. So I could just say, you know, I could indent this and say if, no, whoops. Could say like, if all items do the following, and then I could also say if all items for sale items, go ahead and do this following binary search, but we'll need to set this to for sale items. Ooh. What's going on? Why is it doing that? Oh my gosh. For sale items, for sale items, and for sale items. Hey Mike P Funk, how you doing? Like, welcome back. Good to hear from you. Nice name. Forgot to tell you that last time. So right now, guys, we're trying to write a triple binary search, right? So we're gonna have a 3x binary search. So our constant will be 3, but that's okay. It'll just get it's fine. It'll just skew us slightly. But we're trying to write a binary search across 3 separate lists, right? Because we're separating our objects categories in those distinct lists. So it's difficult because but it's difficult because I don't know the lengths of these lists. I can't put them in here per se, because if I assign these lengths, because if I assign low as 0 and high as the length of just the singular items list, yeah, my man tried to memorize the thought process, not memorizing it, but the way it solves it. Yeah. So if so I'm trying to say yeah, range length. So this will do, if what I'm having trouble with, you guys, is I have to assign this variable as the length of our list, right? But it's going to only it's then going to because I can't assign them within the body of the function itself, because then it will, when it recurses, it will just keep those high and low values, and not update. Wait, do I want to keep them? If I do keep them, what happens? So all I do is I get a mid from the low and the high that gets assigned. Low never gets, low and high never get updated. It becomes mid. High and low always remain the same. No, but then if I assign this is being assigned to high. So if I assign high, like in this body of this function, I'll be stuck recursing over and over again on the same parameters. So I want your help. Okay, let's ask the Almighty Orb, but let's not. I don't want it to give me the answer here. I want to do it myself. Let's say we'll do this. Um, let's ask. Sorry, guys. Let's ask. I need help with a triple search. I don't want you to. I want help. I want help teaching myself and getting to the answer. Okay, it's just giving me way too much information here. Okay, chill. Jesus. Ooh, stop. Just like going off, like relax. Okay. Um, we'll say I have 3 distinct lists that contain objects. I have 3 distinct lists that contain objects. I am having difficulty deciding how to deal with providing a length of high, or length of list equal to high when I have three lists needing to be used as with for my high. I can't assign the value high within the body because it will infinitely recurse over the same parameters. Do I need to just call the function 3 separate times on each list? Got it. Working on the 3 distinct lists and trying to manage how to define high parameter for a recursive function that operates across all 3 lists. This is a fun challenge. Let's break it down systematically and explore solutions. Understanding the problem. You have 3 lists, say list 1, list 2, and list 3. You want to apply some kind of search logic. Binary search over all 3. Your difficulty in deciding how to define high, the upper limit for recursion, since you have 3 lists of potentially different lengths. Problem with assigning high in the body. If you assign high within the body, the function might end up recursing infinitely because it's recalculating the same range parameters. This would likely cause issues, not converging properly, wasting computational resources. If high varies depending on the list being processed, it makes sense to handle each list independently unless there's a strong relationship between them. Options to handle this. Call the function separately on each list. Don't show me code. Okay, approaches. Treat each list has its own problems. Search the list. Since the lists are distinct, running the search function independently for 3 lists keeps things simple and avoids complications. This is the most straightforward solution. Shared logic and bound based on all lists. If you want to process all 3 lists together, you can use the length of the longest list as the high value. Add checks inside your logic to ensure you don't try to access elements beyond the end of shorter lists. This approach treats the lists as if they're part of a single structure but requires careful handling to avoid combine the lists. If there's a logical connection between the lists, they contribute all to the single data set. You can eventually conceptually merge them into one. You would then search across this combined structures if they were a single entity. If does combining lists take O and time, thus defeating the binary search? Great question. Yes, combining the list does take O of time, where n is the total number of elements across all 3 lists. This does indeed eliminate the efficiency advantage of the binary search, which operates in O log n. Let's explore why combining lists impacts the performance. Binary search and search data O log n, yada yada yada. When combining lists, the list will be reused multiple times for future queries, so the upfront n log n cost is amortized. There's a strong logical reason for treating the list as a single stored data set, merging for comparisons. If you only need to search once or don't need the list combined for other purposes, combining it is not ideal. Yeah, so if we don't have any other purpose to combine it than just to find an item, then it's not really ideal because we'll get an amortized n log n, like the average over the course of our like in kind of a cherry picked way of looking at it, I guess, but it will still be impacted. So I think our option here, ladies and gentlemen, is to just call this function on each list independently, right? So what we'll do is we will say type key is equal to item number, and then we'll also say we'll say item. We'll say item key. No, I like type. Type key would be the search by item type. So that would be for like the Hey, I'm gonna ask we don't spam chat, please. Let other people get caught up in, especially if we're already it's things we've already talked about. Can't really read all that. All right, so we need to say if all items, and then we say the string here. We say f. We'll say this will be the we'll say list type or data type, item type, item type, item key. We'll say item type is equal to none. So we need an item type. We'll say item type needs to be required. Actually, right? They need to have a guarantee, a for sure item type. Low, high, item type key. So do we want to have type key be none? No, I don't think we do. Item type. So then we'll take this guy and see. This guy goes here, here, here. Oops. Here and here. Right. Hey Anthony, thanks for coming in this evening. I appreciate you coming in. Yeah, we are actually writing a binary search for our search for items here. So, but we're just trying to set up some kind of customization tailored to our specific approach here. So we have item type and type key. So the type key would be item number that they would have to provide, and the item type would go here. So this would have to be a stir. This is a int. This is an int. This is a int. So if the type key equals item number, we're going to, and then access else. All items is the dict of where we house all of the items, right? So we have, Okay, I keep getting lost because these are confusing me. The two different type things. So we have item type, right? And then we have um, we'll put attribute here. So everywhere that we have type key, we'll put attribute, right? Attribute equals attribute. Attribute equals attribute. You should make the key of the dictionary be the item number instead of the type. Gotcha, because I have it as, I think we worked on this together, you and I actually, as just a dictionary, right? And then we have the types, and then just the list of all the items in those types, and that kind of sufficed our means, because then we would have a bunch of key values. I mean, we could have a dictionary within a dictionary and have the item number be the types within that dictionary, but I feel like that gets a little complicated. I don't know. So we can just run a triple binary search and just have it be 3 log n time, and just overall it just be log n. So um, it'll be okay. We can just call the function 3 times across the 3 different item types here. So if attribute equals item number, do this binary search. So perform binary search when searching by item number. Okay, so then this is where we get the item number. So then item type. So item type is going to be has to be one of the strings provided. So else, meaning that it's empty, um, return none. So actually, if it's empty, this will check if it's empty actually. So I don't think we need this statement here, right? This one right here will check if low becomes greater than high at any point, meaning that high is equal to at 0 index, then we only have one item in the list. Low, if low is 0, no, then it'll do the search for one item. Right, it'll do the search for one item, but if it's higher, it'll return none. When would the low ever be higher? If the low is equal to high, there's one item in the list. If the low is greater than high, there's no match. Meaning that mid plus or minus 1 that is being used as high or low, if that becomes, okay, so this actually handles the adjustment between the transition between the return of mid minus 1 or mid plus 1, right? That's what handles this check for when we have no items, we haven't found it. But this check will actually just not go through this if there are no items in the list in general. Because if we gave a length 0 and if we provided a low of 0 and gave a high of length the list, and the list was length 0 as well, meaning that there was one item in the list, then we would still go through the binary search for that one item. Now, if there was none, it would be 0. It would be index of none. It would be a blank list. So it wouldn't be able to do that. So what is returned on length empty list? None. Length is 0. Okay, so length is not 0 index, right? I'm confusing it. Length is not 0 index. Length will be a single integer value associated with how many items in the list. Starting at 1. Is it? I can't remember. So the lists are 0 index, but the lengths are length 0 index. No, length and index are not the same, right? Okay. Length returns just 3, 1, 2. So it returns just the number of elements, and that's right. Okay. So I oftentimes will get the length and range, and I think sometimes confused every once in a while. It just happens, guys. Let's get caught up on the program. Scuba Dolphin, thanks so much for stopping in again. I appreciate you for coming in. He says, I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. You're really nice. Is the item number not correlated to the position it's in the array, or is it random? Also, to do binary search, you should begin with while low less than high. Oh, I get you. Yeah, okay. Okay, so right now all of our items are in order just by their nature. Now, when they get transitioned into their things, they won't be, and so we'll have to implement a sorting mechanism to sort by item number when items get transitioned, or to place at that index level and then keep it, just rather than doing a mass sort, just indexing into and placing at that point. So we're going to get there eventually within these chapters. So we're going to implement another one of these functions, right? We're needing to either mass sort and have to go over everything and compare, or we're going to need to index into and then place in a certain point. You're trying to do recursively, but you're initiating a set at each recursive call. That's right. I don't need this anymore, actually, because I was using this initially because I wanted to store. I was going to search all 3 at once, or one after the other, and then I had to add it somewhere, so then we can just actually return here, right? Like that. Yeah, welcome, Jeremy. Late night grinding tonight. Feeling good? Hope you guys are too. Welcome. So if item number so If there's items in the list, return. If there's items, we're gonna do the binary search. Else we're gonna return none. There's no items in this list. Item this. So then I think this is pretty good. No. Can I say dot attribute here to just use the attribute provided? Or I don't. The notation is kind of giving me is weird. You should make the item number a variable. Item equals dot item number. I don't want to save the item number as the item though. I'd have to save it as like items item number, right? Found item number. But what would I even really use it for? If I already found that, if I found it, then I just need to return it, right? I just return the item found. I don't want to return the item number. I want to actually return the whole object because I need to then do something with the object. Edit it, change it, yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? Right, don't include item number yet. So I could save it and return item, right? I could just go like this and just do a quick save here as found item is equal to, and then just return the found item, right? So now we have this saved as a variable now. So you should make, wait, so you say, right, don't include, it's because you're reusing that line of code a lot. Oh, you mean like I'm reusing this, I'm typing this out a lot. So I could just save it, right? And then just, I get what you're saying. So you'll say like that, right? Like that. I think that's what you're saying, right? Oh shoot. Hold up. Like that. It was just a typo. Sorry, I fat fingered. I accidentally deleted. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Just initially say it and then just call the found item. Okay, so now this, I think we're all good here. This will do the binary search if attribute is found item, right? If attribute is found item, we will go and perform the binary search. So I'm gonna copy this actually. I'm gonna put it up here. Okay. Um, uh, proceed uh, with binary search if um, if data in desired list, right? So we will proceed with a binary search if there's data in the desired list. So then this gets into the binary search, right? So then, perfect. Yeah, you're right. I got to. That. Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for your help with that, Anthony. That was really helpful. Good idea. Good way to see. Good way to see that. If you're like, that's a good way to think about it. If you find yourself just like with functions, if you find yourself retyping the same couple of phrases over and over again, find somewhere to save that as a variable and then just use the variable. Right. Good idea. Good approach. Okay. So now what I want to try to do this. Let's see if this will work. Right. This is going to be the moment of truth. I'm going to comment out our find by item number. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to put in our find by item, find by function. We are going to, for our target, for our target, so right, our target is our first low, high item type attribute. So our target is going to be the user input that they provide as the item number. The low is going to be 0. The high is going to be um, uh, the high is going to be, sorry, it's going to be the length of the all items items list, right? The length of the all items list, and then the item type is going to be items, and then attribute is going to be item number, right? So we're going to get while true, we're going to try and get a user input from a user. We're going to take that input and try to convert it to an integer. Except if we get a value error, we're going to clear the terminal. Please print a whole number. Please enter a whole integer number, and then we're going to continue the loop. So we'll say they enter in 10. So we're going to run find item by. We're going to use the user input as our target, 10. We're going to provide a low of 0, a length high of high equals the length of all items, the items list. We're going to search for the items list itself, right? And then we need the item number. I think that's all. That's everything that we needed, right? Item type is a string. Attribute is item number. Item type is the list, just like in the all items here. Perfect. Quote items. All right, so then what we need to do is um, we will duplicate this down. Oop, shoot. What just happened? Okay. We are going to take this, duplicate it down twice. We're going to change this to for sale items. Change this to for sale items. Change this to sold items. Change this to sold items. And then by the way, binary search is more efficient because it takes constant space during doing recursion makes space O log n. It takes constant space doing recursion makes space O log n. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to call the function across all three of our lists, and if the per our function, these will return either the value or none. So one of these, the item will be found and contained within one of these variables. And if we don't get any of them, then we're going to return and say that that item number is not in the list in any of our database. Else we will, I'm going to just print the found item here to prove that we found it. All right, moment of truth, everybody. You ready for this? Drum roll, please. Okay, so I will note that this will only work on a sorted list of data. Currently, we have no sorting mechanisms implemented, but I have just by nature have our nature of our program adds items in increasing item number based on the last one in the list. So and we don't have a way to actually transition items and transact them into for sale and sold items yet. So when we do that, they will just get either added to the stack, right? They will get added as a stack and just get added to the end of the list. And then, well, not technically a stack because they can be sold at any time. So it would just be a queue, right? No, a queue would be first in, first out. So it wouldn't be a queue or a stack. It would just be a indexable array, or it would be a set because each number is unique and in order. So it'd be a set rather, and we would have to either, like I said, sort the entire set every time we add a new item, or find some sort of, I can't remember what it's called, but we're going to learn about it in the DSA book shortly in the next couple of chapters, where we actually will index into the correct segment at where the item is supposed to go, kind of like cutting into a line with your friends, and then putting the item in that item number spot, right? So that's what we'll have to do. So we could, I think to do that we could. No, sorry, a set is unordered. So then I always get this confused. So a list is just any order, any order, and any. Oh my gosh, my brain is fried right now. Any order and any my gosh. Dude, what is going on with me right now? It's one of those nights, guys. It's one of those nights. Wanted to go back to my book definition here. Unordered. Individual loop through an entire list, feelings come across from the looping energy. Working with lists. Oh, hold on. No, lists are ordered. No, they're not. They're unordered. But they're in our particular order. All right. A list is an array. You can access elements via an index. It's a continuous block of memory. Hi, why you begin with a little project? What's going what do you mean? I'm not sure which. Yeah, we're working on a little project right now, small business manager application that we've been writing on Stream Live. And then we are, but usually at the beginning of our streams, we do the data structure and algorithms and learning. But we decided to work on this evening as a. All right. A set allowed for elements to be hashed. So set an unordered collection of unique elements. Okay, so it's unordered, but they're unique. So, okay, got you. A list, ordered collection that can be of any type. So sets you cannot index to, right? You cannot add or remove items. No duplicates, unordered. So then lists, you write duplicates, and then tuples are ordered and immutable. Okay. So we just need to stick with lists then here. Cool. Yeah, I woke up today. I slept like crap last night, you guys. It was freezing cold. Like, well, obviously it's not freezing cold. I'm in California Bay, so some of you guys are rolling your eyes right now. But I have like such a bad draft in my apartment. Like I got cracks and like the doors sealed. It's just drafty, and so it just gets chilly, man. And just was tossing and turning and yeah. Anyways, and then because I went to bed late also, and then I had to do. I got up and studied for a little bit, and then I drove right after that, an hour and a half, and then watched a show, and then drove an hour and a half back. Now I'm doing this again, so it's been a doozy of a day, guys. I didn't expect to be as busy, but tomorrow I've got nothing to do but stream and learn and get better. So tomorrow is going to be really really great. So I'll be on top of my A game tomorrow. I promise you. Okay, so let's go ahead and run the program here. So we're going to try to find, right, we're trying to access one of these items. Now, if we did this correctly, we should be returned and printed one of these items here. All right. Inventory. Edit and find by item number. Item number. Okay, let's search for item number 30. No! Oh. Oh. Okay. Type error. Find item by missing one required position or argument. Item type. I missed an item type argument? Where? Line 459. Oh. Um. Oh, okay. That's right. So we need to add um, item type is equal to um, just the item type that's been provided this whole time, right? So we need to add that here. Right. Cool. All right, cool. That will take care of that. We need a comma here. All right, now let's try this one more time. Okay, if we did this correctly, we should get back the item. All right, inventory. We got pretty far that time. I'm not gonna lie. We got pretty deep into the program. I know. I don't like. I don't know. I know. I don't need to set it to anything, but um, sometimes I just do it by. It just makes. Sometimes I do it just to be clear. You know. I've had. I've gotten bugs before where my orders were out and I could not figure out why, and so sometimes I do the the equals to just explicitly say and just be like, stop with. Don't worry about the order. Yeah, I got you, Anthony. I was just doing it to make it clear because I sometimes goof up the order of the inputs. Um, there was a bug earlier a couple weeks back where when we were in the supering of these classes, I had the order of one of these items swapped or like three of them swapped on one of these, and so I cannot it took me about an hour of just reading this thing being like where is it, and I could not figure it out, and then we finally figured it out. It was a late night stream about a week and a half ago, I think. So I just sometimes do it because I just explicitly say. But thank you for paying attention. I appreciate you. Okay, inventory. Let's go find edit item number. Okay, come on, give us item number 30 here. No. Dang it. It's not gonna give us any item. Uh, then we got an index error. Ah. So we'll need to try. We'll need to add a try block in here somewhere to account for an index error on found item mid. So we'll say try except index error. We will return none. As well, just to say like, oh, that item's not on the list either. It's too high. Anthony says, add a base case checking if target is greater than high. Okay, got you. So we don't need to try except block for an index error. We can just give ourselves another base case here saying um, or target is greater than high, right? We'll return none. Now high is just going to be the length of the list, so it's 5. Should be the first thing it checks for, so it needs to be its independent line. So if target is greater than the high, we will return none as well. So then high, if I provide just length for the high, I get, if I say the high is 5, and I get a 5 for the length of the list, it's going to try to what? Take a mid of 0 and 5 divided by 2 to be 2.5. Floor down to 2. So it would floor division down to 2. If I did high is length minus 1, that'd be 4. For an example of 5, that'd be 4 divided by 2 is 2. Maybe my midpoint would, same thing would happen. If high is the length, then shouldn't it be target greater than or equal to high? If high, I'm sorry, I'm not, if high is the length, then shouldn't it be target is greater than or equal to high? I wouldn't think, because I am doing the length of the list as my high, so target could be the, I remember in the list. So the low, I'm trying to follow. So the high would be an index. Let me turn off my heater. It's doing kind of work. Yeah, the first item in my list has ID of 1. There's no 0 indexing, so you can kind of treat my list as um, a start 0 index or start 1 index list, right? So okay, so trying to follow what you guys are saying here. So my target, if the target I provide is greater than the high, meaning that if I'm looking for item number 30 and my high is length of my list and I have 30 items on my list, my target cannot be greater than my high. So no. And I don't want to return none. I don't want to say equal to high because in return none because my target can be my high. So I want to leave it like this, exactly like that, yeah. No, so I think we're confusing each other here, you guys. I am using an array, so don't get that confused. I have a dictionary object, right? But the item type that's being provided, the key that's being received is a list, right? In my search, in my load file, I return a blank list, right? If I don't find any, I append items to a loaded items list that gets loaded in. So, and then that just gets placed associated as the value of a key in a dictionary. So there's a list inside of my dictionary, right? The key is going to be mid plus one. What do you mean, Anthony? Need to get a refill. I'll be right back. Give me a refill and a drink. All right. Since you're accessing items via index, the key, since you're accessing the items via index, the key is going to be index plus one. Since you're accessing the items, yeah, mid is a list index, right? That's how I'm able to do it. I could not index into a dict object. We learned that yesterday. That was something that we didn't know, is that if I didn't have a list inside of my dictionary, I could not index through it. Right? I can you cannot index into dict objects. It has to be the list, right? The key is going to be index plus one. Yeah. So if mid is zero, for example, the item its access will have an ID of one. Yeah, meaning that if mid is zero, there's only one item in the list, then it'll have an ID of one. Because I'm target will be one, or no, but this is not gonna work though. I can't compare my target to high because but if I'm trying to think though, because if I am accessing my, if I'm comparing my target value, I can't, guys, I think we're getting confused is I can't compare my target value to my high value. I mean, I could make my target +1. I get what you're saying to compare it to high, but I think we shouldn't be comparing an item number to an index value, right? I get what you guys are saying. We can, because our list in a sense behave the item numbers are behaving similar to indexes. They're just not starting at zero, right? We can make that comparison, but I think it's unethical in a sense, like in a way, because we shouldn't be comparing a target value to an index value. The target is an item number, and high is an index value. So this is going to throw an error when we try, because if we then load items from our items list and transact them into for sale items or sold items, right? Those are going to have, like, let's say we have items 1 through 30 in our items list, right? Let's say we sell item 6, we sell item 15, and we sell item 23. Well, in our sold list, right, or in our sold items list, we're going to have 6, 13, and 23 items, right? And so just based off that, if we try to then say, well, I want to find item 35 in the sold items list, it's going to say, well, 35 is greater than the length of the list of 3, so this won't work. We cannot do it this way. That's why I was having trouble following along. So I don't think I just it was I would sorry. Ugh. We were comparing things that can't be compared. They're not the same thing. No, target is not an index list. Target is the value we are searching for, which is the item number. We are comparing target to item numbers, which is a custom attribute. So they are completely distinct things in this case. This is why I had mentioned that to make the key be the item number in your dictionary. With the way you have your data structure, this is the only way to do what you want. Well, that makes sense now. I was assuming target was a list index. My bad. No, no worries, no worries. It was good that we were able to work through this. That we were using that side of our brain to solve problems, and we're developing these techniques and these skills. So it's good that we were able to solve them. We were able to notice that we were comparing two things that aren't the same in this case. So these are the things we're wanting to catch in this development process, right? In this learning process. So then I don't want to do this. What I do need to do then, I think, is I'm going to put back in my try block, guys. I know some of you guys didn't like it, but it seemed to be like the next approach to solving this problem is a try block. So else we're going to try here to do the following binary search, um, except we get a index error, and then we need to return none, right? So now we will try to, find these indexes. It'll try to take a mid value from right here. It'll try to, right, this is where we got thrown the index errors on this line. So we're going to try and assign found item to all items at this midpoint, right? Except if we get an index error, we know that the found item this index out of range. Because I gave 45. But the base condition was comparing things that weren't that should not have been compared in theory. What happens if I run this? I don't know. We'll see. Error. So if I go over 45, I get error again. So we don't get the exception, but we're not getting the value here. We're not returning a found item. We're not finding an item. So found item. Midpoint. So if I do like 1, can't find it. If I do 0, can't find it. So then I'm going to print this item here. Well, it wasn't returning anything, so nothing's going to print here, right? But whatever, we'll try it. Oh yeah, the big arrow. So that printed the item number here. So we got it with this print statement. So we just weren't returning the item. Why weren't we returning the item? So then what was going on with our function here? Found item. Oh, because it was doing this one. Okay. So if it was doing this one and then finding it and then overriding it with this one with none and then overriding it with none in this one. So our function is correct down below. Nothing's wrong with our binary search down here. So let me go back and put in the return statement here. Right? So we're going to return the found item. And then what we're going to say is we could say line 141 has a typo, print error, item not found, item number equal user input. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you. Airsick Titan, thank you. Um, Printed after you initialize. Okay, so Now we just need to deal with this. So we returned the item in the item number in the items list, but then it got overrode by these two calls to the same variable. So we'll say if not found item 1, found item 2, found item 3, and we'll say found item 1 or found item 2 or found item 3, print this, else print found item. Else we will say found can I what happens if you go like this and there's nones? Like what happens if you do this? Like, and if you have a value in one of these but none are in two of these, will it just unpack the one item, the one value that is present? Oh, okay, wait a second. Got you, thank you. So when you say and here, when you say and, meaning that no item was found in any of the lists, right? Else found item is equal to if so this is going to only return only one of these variables is going to have an item in it and two of them are going to have none. So will the none ones be just discarded by principle? Or do I need to house them? Hmm. Anyone have any opinions? So if you unpack nones and val on a single variable, will the nones quote fall off? If you try to unpack none, val into a single variable, you'll encounter an error. Python doesn't allow unpacking multiple variables in a single variable. This would give an error. You need, in this case, val. You can use a wildcard unpacking. If you only want the last value in this case, you can use wildcard unpacking. This technique captures remaining values. In this case, the asterisk underscore will consume the none values and hold the last value. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Interesting. So if you add in asterisk underscore as a unpacking object or an unpacking variable, it's going to consume none values, and you'll find the one data type that is interesting. Okay, we need to conjunct the whole entire. Gotcha. Okay, let's try this. Let's see what happens. 1, inventory, find, edit, item number. Okay, we should print the found item here. So let's look at our list. 10. No! Okay. Um, that didn't work. In this case, we'll consume none as a valuable hold. Oh, because it does it by order. That's why. Uh, var for variant in ABC if var. List comp, nice. Try and print out the found item one and see if you're getting a result back from that. Okay, let's try that. Found item, let's remove this. Found item one. Inventory, find and edit, item number 10. No. We're still getting hit with this. Okay, so we are getting it. So it's this statement here that's messing with us. So if not found item one and found item two and found item three, print this. No, it's too long of variables. Never mind. It's going to try to be more descriptive. Um, is that the error, your error? Yes, this is my error. I arose. I'm just printing here. I'm not raising. I'm just printing an error visually in the loop to signal that that item number could not be found and to ask for a different item. We also need to add in an ability to actually exit out of this loop and cancel the search in general. We're just printing it right now. I need to do something else here, like edit item attributes, etc. So when we actually receive the item back from the database, then we can actually make, in case we make a typo in our entries, like the date, we can change you can change all the attributes like manually within this place. You could also maybe do the transaction right at this point as well. So why is this block giving us the problem here? If not found item one and found item two and found item three, print error. Um, print it before the if else is here. Print the values of each found item to see what you're working with. Okay, let's try that. We'll print 2, we'll print 3 here. So 1, inventory, find edit, item number 10. So none and none. Just like I suspected, right? And then you still get this error here. Try if not found item. I don't get why this wouldn't work though. Like, it seems explanatory to me, but let's get caught up here because it doesn't exist in your. Try and remove all the other found items and leave only one and see if it runs in your else statement. So it prints when it finds it. But I'm saying if not. So we'll say if equal to none. Print that. What about that? No. If found item and found and equal to none. Well, fine. Well, let's do this. Fine. If found item 1 equal to none and um, and found item 2 equal to none and item 3. Let's see what happens there. Okay, that worked. Let's try it one more time. Inventory, find, edit item, item number 10. There it is. Boom. Now what happens if we get an item that's over? So what happens if we give it 45? Error not in. What happens if we give it -1? Not in. What happens if we get it a that? Please enter a whole integer number. 1. Cool, we got it back. Sweet. So I'm not gonna lie, I've ran into this case before. I've tried to like claim multiple variables with like those tuples and stuff, like if found item blah 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 equal to, and it never seems to work out for me. So there's something that some feature with Python in general, I think, that it's really picky about how you specify these and or statements when dealing with multiple variables. Because I've had cases where it seems logically like this would work, but it just doesn't work um, how it's supposed to intended, and it gives you those errors. This has happened to me quite often before, where I have done if this variable equals this and or like this with this, something like that in like CS50P when I was doing a lot of those stuff back in the past. I remember that came up for me a lot when learning. So um, yeah. Uh, Sorry, lots of chats, guys. Thank you so much for participating and giving me some stuff to read here. I know I'm behind. I'm sorry. Um, yes, but one has a value. Same issues, I believe. If all x is none for x in found item, do this. Okay, that would work too, probably. Here we go. Should hit the error. If you type in -1, you should warn the user for clarity. The same. So we remember the issue because it's usually a pain in the butt to debug. Yeah, exactly. I'll definitely This will be stuck in my brain for the next few weeks. I'm coming from C# and Python background. We've all run into the issue. It's a rite of passage, lol. Oh, does this oftentimes like occur for people? Is this like a normal thing? Does Python have a weird syntax when handing and or like Boolean expressions in a single line for multiple variables? Is it pretty picky compared to other languages? What do you guys think? So if we were to type in -1 here, we just get not found. So we should probably add in a check that it has to be positive, right? Or greater than 0. Positive in this case. So we'll say um, get item number except value error or user input is equal to is less than 1. We will clear terminal. Please print a positive whole integer number. Continue. So if the user input that they provide is less than 1, or we get a value error, we're going to that. You can do if not low less than high less. You can do if not low is less than target, which is less than high. Oh, you're talking about in our binary search? What are you referring to, Anthony? I'm not exactly sure. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's just make sure how does that look? So make sure that now we shouldn't be able to put a -1. So if we go inventory, find, edit, item number 10. Now what if we say -1? No, we don't get it. So this does not work. So exceptions only happen when you get arrays happening. So we can't. You're checking in multiple different places that user input, which isn't a really good practice. You only want to have the check this once. You probably want to do that in your try block. Okay, so we don't want to have this here. This obviously just doesn't even work. So we'll say like if user input is less than 1, I don't want to clear here. Less than 1, we'll just say oops, like so, like that. So inventory, find, edit, item number 10. That gives us that back -1. Please enter a positive whole integer. If we enter in 30, we get the item. If we enter 100 where we don't have it, we get error not found. If we enter ABC, please enter whole. Okay, all of our bases are covered for that. Nice. Sweet, guys. Awesome. Thank you so much for all that help and assistance. You guys were really awesome. Mike P. Funk, Airsick Titan, General Talks, Anthony Ham, um, who else was here? SS Low, definitely. Theed, you guys are clutch with coming up with these, helping me out with remembering my basics and helping with these functions. Awesome work, you guys. Great work. Look what happens when we come together. So add up, so add an upper bound to your if statement you just added. We have an error already that accounts for items that aren't found, meaning that there is no item number in there, so it's too large. So all this did was just make sure that the user can't put in a negative number or a zero. We have this check here, though, that just overall displays if that item number doesn't exist, meaning that by intuition that you just don't have that item in your list yet. You don't have that many. Hey, Christy, thanks so much for joining and stopping in and leaving a message. How are you doing this evening? Late night stream for us. Doing some programming, working on a personal project. We're working on the small business manager. We just implemented a binary search function. We completely redid our linear search function for detecting. This obviously, in my opinion, this one was way easier to write. I wrote this in like 2 minutes without like any help. It was way easy. Whereas this one we've been writing for the past literally like almost 2 hours working through the debugging this add item function and converting this over to a binary search. So we're making more work for ourselves for hopefully more benefit in the long run here. You have the upper bound and lower bound checks in two different places. Not good practice. Okay, but I need to check though. I have to check before because I don't want to have the user put in a -1 and then perform an unnecessary search on a -1 value. So how would you suggest we would counter that? Because if they put in -1 and then I don't have this check here, if I have it down here alongside this one, then it will run the search for a -1 value. Yeah, for those that are new here, real quickly while I'm waiting for a response from our peers here on the chat, my name is Michael. I'm about to turn 26 here, coming up in a month. I I graduated college back in 2021 as I have a sorry, bachelor's of science in human biology and a minor in chemistry. I kind of focused and specialized in the like, cellular physiological aspects of human biology and chemistry. Mainly the chemistry. I worked as like a lab instructor for the undergraduates as well as an undergraduate teaching fellow, as closely associated with the professors in the chemistry department. Just right after I graduated college in 2021, I got a job as a formulation chemist for a biotech company, and I've been there ever since. I'm currently a scientist too in my field, and I wanted to learn Python to gain additional skills. Further challenge myself in my education. I've kind of taken a back seat in continuing my education post college, and I've really kind of had a change of heart and said, no, I need to keep going. I need to keep teaching myself things, working hard, and so we are grinding away here. Thanks so much for joining me here. I don't think I. No, you're all good, General. As long as you're here hanging out, that's all we. That's all that matters. Thank you so much for being here. You can combine them technically, LOL. So you're checking in one place, not two. Right. So you can check in the same place. You're checking if it's below one, if it's greater than the size of the list. Okay. So if we say Okay, so you're saying that we can upfront predetermine if this item even exists by saying, okay, is user input within the length of if user input if the length no if one sorry. Oh my goodness. Number three. Number three for bad luck. Oh boy. Okay, if user input is if one is less than or equal to user input, which is less than or equal to um, we'll say we'll go like this: the length of all items plus oh, length of all items for sale items, and then plus length of all items uh, sold items, right? Um, and then I'm going to put this all within its own parentheses. So if user input, and then we can say, we can actually remove this guy entirely. Cool. How's that look, you guys? All right. So right, we had to because we're using three different lists, we had to concatenate or add the length of all three lists together to determine the total number of items in our database. And so we rather than determining that after the binary search is ran, we can just run the binary search and then uh, if and only if we actually have user input within the bounds of our database. So this won't even um, now this will stop the binary search from even taking place if it's not even possible to find the item in the first place because the item we're looking for is not even within our bounds. So we won't even reach the log end time. We will just have a constant time operation happening in a check here. And so this would be the best case scenario for having a database that is complete or a user input that is not within the database at all. So this is way more optimized in a grand scheme of things than just a binary search in general. We even optimize the binary search in general to um, not the binary search directly, but we optimize the way we access the binary search to, for our program's sake. Why are you adding in the lengths? Well, the lengths of all the items, right? So we need the length of all three lists. Just like you stated above, no? I thought we were in agreement. So then let's try it. Yes. Inventory, find, edit, item number 10. No, we didn't get it. Length all items. Uh, so the length of all items is going to be 30 plus. Oh, sorry. If not. All right, now let's try it. I know someone's gonna say it right now. Item number 10. There we go. Okay. All right, we forgot the not, right? I'm an idiot. Sorry. Okay, so then let's say 100. Boom, not even a -1. Oh! Yes! Okay, I'm thinking about doing this. When we successfully get code to run, I'm thinking about having my guitar set up and we hit like a quick like riff, like or something like just a quick like blues riff after we get like a successful run going. I think that would be so sick. Okay, 31. Boom, not in the database, right? What do you guys think if I had like my Fender, my Stratocaster right here, and we got the program to work? I grab it and it's, wow, 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 wow. Okay, let's get caught up on the chat here. Um, Christy says, as someone who is newly learning C++ in college, where should I look to program practice projects? Um, I will just preface this by saying I don't have a computer science degree. I have a degree in physical science, of biology, of human biology more specifically, and chemistry. So take that with a grain of salt. I do, however, have the perspective of a raw beginner in programming, so I can provide that. I personally, I found it a lot more beneficial to work on things that I personally found passion for. Um, you will have a greater ability to actually sit in front of your computer and put in hours if you have the possibility of actually using this in the future. If it's something that you're going to write right now and then never open up again, well, odds are is you probably are just gonna maybe suffer through it, obviously, and maybe not do your best job through it. So I think it's very key, pardon me, to find something that you're passionate about and that could actually apply to your life. Because when you get into they teach you all in school, oh, think about mathematics and how you can apply it to your life. That's how they tell you, and you're like, oh, how can I think about that? But once you start actually, you know, trying to apply mathematics into your real life or trying to apply programming into your real life, you realize that you start to think like maybe like a user's perspective. I often, as I'm writing this, I think as, okay, as if I'm typing this, what do I need to have end cases checked for? It just opens up those doors. Now, I'm kind of getting off topic. For example, I took Harvard CS50P as my first ever introduction to programming. I have never written a line of code. I had only done Microsoft Excel as a chemist and stuff, but I wanted to learn more. So I did at the end of May, beginning of June 2024, I did Harvard CS50P. Hold on. Oh, hold on, Anthony. We'll fix that in a second. I see we have two checks here. Hold on one sec. So I did Harvard CS50P and I created a chemical inventory system. Now it wasn't specifically for chemicals, but it was modular and the person could put whatever they wanted to store in there. But I used it to store my chemicals because at my work as a chemist, I have to request like not like tens and tens of items that all go into my solutions and creations. So I had to manage those. So I made a program that was able to I can just quickly put in things and it tabulates them and populates them for me and just manages them. And then from there I realized, oh, okay, I can make some things. And so I started making my next project, which built on the previous. So the previous used object oriented um, orientation to create storage items, right? So, and then I created a task tracker which had very similar structure to that object orientation, but took it one step further by adding in file IO for saving and reading and writing files for added in third-party modules, date time, and things like that for actually tracking, date instances and thinking about how I would manage those as the program was opened on in the future, right? And so I had to account for the shift in time. It really helped to level things up, and it was something that I could then use, right? I could use it to manage my tasks and things like that. So I mainly am talking about there's nothing wrong with maybe like following tutorials online about projects, like maybe recreating certain websites that are already established, but I really think there's a lot of value in just the learning and the actual enjoyment if you're making something that you actually care about and is kind of original to you, you know. Let's try 30. Okay, we got 30 back. So like Anthony said, is we have an accept value error here that's catching with the same error as above. So what happens if I were to, I have to use a try though because I have to catch a value error. No, the value error is being caught if I were to try to put in ABC here. That's where my value error is being caught. So I can actually take my accept block then and put it here, right there. And then this can go outside, right? Well, this, no, the user input is within my while, so it'll pull the user input from there, not from this one here. Okay. Okay. In my first, I'm in, okay. Christy, you want to create an application that you're able to add a to-do item or a list of things that you need to do. I can't understand anything properly, but congrats for debugging. Thank you. Guitar it is. You should make the exception print statements different than the outbound statements. Okay, so let's make this, so please enter an integer number, and then please enter a positive whole integer number. Okay, so now what do we get? Inventory, find item, item number. Okay, if we type in -1, we should get please enter a positive whole integer. Please enter a positive whole integer. If we type in ABC, we should get please enter an integer. Ah, let's go. Wow. I'm just prepping for it now. I should do that. That's a good idea. Okay, cool. Um, I'm in my first semester of college, so I'm like new. Well, that's technically me. I'm 6 months in, so I'm right there with you. Thanks so much for joining. And also, Christy, I created a Discord linked in my description below where I have gathered all of my study resources from right now. We're reading on the stream data structures and algorithms in Python. Right now, we just finished chapter 4, which is where we learned about binary search. And we're working on the end of chapter 4 practice problems shown here. We're gonna work on these tomorrow morning, um, and then yeah. So I have PDFs for this data structures and algorithms. I also have a PDF for the book I read already on stream, Python Crash Course. We read all of part 1 on stream, which is all about Python basics and understanding and syntax. We will then eventually get to Fluent Python. Picked up this bad boy for $10 on Facebook Marketplace. Got the second edition. Feel really good about that one. And then picked up this bad boy for $10 too, the Python machine learning. So we got a lot of content here we're gonna get to, and we're making really great progress. And we actually are, in my opinion, because we were actually implementing the stuff we're reading. we implemented a binary search, the second day after we read about it. So that's just that's exactly what you're wanting, for when you're learning and when you're implementing this knowledge, right? All right. If you're new, you want to learn the syntax or structure of the language before jumping into projects. YouTube is a great resource. Well, right now I'm only know the basics like variables, loops, functions, and small concepts of recursion. Well, awesome, Christy. We literally just we finished chapter 4 this morning. This is my double header stream for the weekend. I sometimes do two in a day. This morning I streamed for about 2.5 hours, and we finished chapter 4, which was all about recursion. So this is a great place to be here. Um, you want to go into classes next year and understand how it works in C++. It's not the same error. The output is the same, but the error is not the same. Change the print statement and accept to a different phrase. Gotcha, yeah. Are there specific channels that you recommend, or any C++ vid is okay? I'm not sure. Someone else might have to chime in on that one. I'm obviously, I think they have you. And if you join colleges, they have you start off with like C and C++ in those beginner classes. I think, right? Um, I'm starting off with Python just because that's what I chose to do. I'm more data science oriented with being a chemist, and yeah. So do 31. Enter a positive whole integer number. Okay, so if we do 31, that doesn't really meet our it doesn't this phrase doesn't really define this 31 that we entered. So we need to say print um, uh, I'll just do my error from before, right? Let's just do that f string error um, uh, item number equal to quote no, quote not quote, it's an integer, so it would just be here, user input not found, not right. Now let's try that. So now this error message should make sense with all the context of our every edge case of our enter. So we've entered -1, and user entered item number equals -1, not in database. I guess we'll put quotes around it just so to specify. Okay, and then let's try that. Let's just go back, run it again, inventory, find, edit, item number. Let's do 31, not found, -1, not found, ABC, enter integer, enter an integer, not number. And then what about 10? Boom, we get it back. Awesome. Uh, Shredded data. Ever heard of an event of code? You should check it out. Yeah, some of the members of the channel, some of the subs were stopping in and talking about the event of code. I never, I didn't, I checked it out just for a second, but I didn't look too much into it. Meaning if I look for 31 in the list size. Okay, so hold on. So Anthony says, is the length of your other list 0 aside from items? You will run into an issue when the other list sizes are not 0, each list will have a different size. So if one list is 2 and the other is 30, your bounds will check between 0 and 32. But that's fine though, Anthony, because in the context of our program, whatever the length of the lists are, you have items in there. So, oh, I get what you're saying. So it wouldn't. No, I think it would be fine though, because just like it's kind of similar to that concept we were talking about earlier, where we were kind of we were kind of comparing the item numbers to the index values, and it's a similar concept as the length, where if we have a total of 100 items and they're scattered out through the items, the sold items, and the for sale items list, well, the length is still going to be 100, and the amount of items we have is still 1 all the way to 100. So it is safe to say that, I think. If the sum of all lists is 100, but one list is size 30, your binary search will initiate even though target is greater than the high. How is the high set to the length of the given list? Okay, so let's say, let's just, I get what you're saying. Oh, this is getting complex. This is getting, was it a can of worms we shouldn't have opened trying to convert from linear search to binary search? You will run into an issue when your other list sizes are not 0. Each list will have a different size, so your list is 2. So if your list is 2 and the other is 30, your bounds will check between 0 and 32. 31 would be, quote, valid, but it's not in any of the databases. 31, not found. If I'm searching through a list size 30, the sum of all my lists is 100. If I'm searching through a list size of 30, the sum of all my lists is 100. I'm allowed to be 40 even though the list I'm searching for is a size 30. Okay. Besides, your other lists are 0. So if I were to have values in my other lists, that would increase this. So this would be like 10 plus 10 plus 10 would give me 30. If I'm looking for item number 30, it would run the binary search okay. So let's take these items, let's throw them in our other lists. 20 date listed, 12, 14 sold would be 20 date sold, 12, 14, 2024. Okay, I'll copy these. Okay, I'm going to copy these. Go to our for sale items. Paste them in here. For our sold, I'm going to take, hold on, for sale, we'll just say cost 10. For listing price 10, date listed would be 12, 14, 2024. Copy these. Down, 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 down. Okay. So now if we run this program, inventory, find edit, item number 10, gives me back item number 10. -1, not found. 50, not found. 31, none. 30, there it is. 32, 30, 33, 34. Okay, so that's what's happening. Okay, so that's, we're getting none. We have an increase in length for the number of items. So this length becomes, so the length of this one is 31, the length of this one is 6, and the length of this one is 6. Or no, sorry, the length of this one is 30, the length of this one is 5, and the length of this one is 5. So we have a total of 40. So item number 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39, and 40 all should be giving me that none. 41 will be giving me the first item error. Okay. So then we need, do we need to have some sort of subtraction that takes place at the end of this to account for that difference? What do we need to subtract? This is 10. Let's get caught up on the chat. Sorry, guys. For example, add one item in both of your lists. If you command click each line, you can write multiple lines. Oh, that's a good hack. Thank you so much for that. I'll use that. You're going to have to fix the item number in each respective list as well. You're getting back none is the problem. You're being allowed to search through a list that doesn't have items you're looking for. Could have the output display the items that have that item number, like in a real DB box. If you had a master list of all items, you could do the search once and not have conflicting index bounds. But I don't know if that's what you want to do. I thought about that. The only thing about having one master list, well, should we just do one master list, you guys? Like, I mean, I was just trying to implement the DSA concepts that we're learning. So I was trying to do like a binary search, and I was trying to not, I was trying not to concatenate or join my 3 distinct lists into one master, because that would take event time for all the objects in the list, in all the lists. So, which would kind of defeat the purpose of having log n time. Airsick or Anthony says not able to do that here. He is doing binary search on only one list. It's not there. It will return none. Yeah. So, what should we do? Not if you add the item to a master the same time you add it to a respective list. Okay. So then we could do that. So in our load file function, we have loaded items that gets found. So we already are generating a master list. Right? We're appending items as we find them to this loaded items list. If you had a master list, you can add a new field and call it from table or something like that. What do you mean? What do you mean a new field and call it from table? Yeah, I was thinking you can keep a separate master list on the side alongside the other data structures. Okay, so then what if I so my right what my read my load file um, function that I wrote, it takes in the flag for each of these files, and I call it 3 times, one for each. Now, and so it loads only one instance of the one file into the loaded items at a time. So I would have a list of lists if I listed all three under the same variable. By the way, this is why things like SQLite exist in database. Ah, well, we haven't gotten to the data structures yet in the book. We're getting there. So. Okay, so what do you guys suggest that we do then? Like, so we should make a master list. So I have loaded items being found, and those are being returned right here. They're being unpacked into these the respective dictionary key. I could also just say loaded item set the upper bound to the length of whatever the list the user inputs. Okay, so if we go, let me close some of my functions here. Um, so this is our binary. We need, where's our function? Where am I? I'm lost. Find item by run inventory. Find item. So make the upper bound equal less than or equal to the length of whatever the user inputs. So the user is going to input so the list the user inputs is we don't get that until down here for the high. Yeah, that's the problem I ran into, Anthony, was I'm doing a triple binary search across all three. So like I guess having the master item list would would just completely remove the need for that, right? So it sounds like to me we need to implement a master item list that gets added alongside our dictionary database, right? That sounds like a lot of work. What do you guys think? Yeah, and the key can be the item number makes getting an item O one time. So you want me to use a dictionary then? With the key as the item number? A master dictionary, not a master list? Once you get to implementing a database, it's a lot easier. Hopefully, we're definitely going to be getting there soon in our book. So right now we're just dealing with the what we've been given in the bare bones of the programs and stuff. So and the knowledge. So yeah, it's interesting though because I want to know this had a length of 30. This had a length of 5, and this had a length of 5 for a total of 40. But we only had. Oh, hold on. Oh, I'm dumb. 21 through 25, 26 through 30. So these items are deleted. Hold on. Oh, whoops, sorry. Wrong button. 1, inventory, find, edit, item number. -1 gives me error, -1 not found. 31 gives me not found. 30 gives me none. When I do have an item number 30. 32 gives me error. 29, 28, 27, 26. Oh, okay, so it's only. One, inventory, edit, item number, -1, 31, 30. none, none, item number 30. 29, none, none, item number 29. 28. Okay, hold on. So I don't know about you guys, but I think that this is working. I am I wrong? I could be wrong. I could very well be wrong, but in my eyes, by doing the length of all items, right? As long as I have the item numbers are associated and not overlapping, which is my intention, right? They get transitioned and the item numbers carry over into their respective categories. It will equal, our upper bound should equal the length of all of these lists. Meaning 5 plus 5 plus 20 would equal 30, and we have a total of 30 items. So this is valid. I think this is fine. Inventory, find, edit, item number -1, ABC, 31, 30. So yeah, I get none back in these two searches. So I need to maybe add some conditionals to say if user input is between 1 and, I need to just return the value that was found out of these three. That's what needs to happen. I need to determine which one of these returned a value and return that value. Here's my binary search. In my opinion, in my eyes, this makes sense to me because as long as I have items in their order, right? They're ordered in this list. I'm going to be getting back all the values as long as I don't have like blank links or items that don't have item number. Like everything in my opinion is right. I'm just breaking at a certain line and starting a new list and then searching that one. So I'm just breaking up into three separate searches. And as long as I have my bounds and my parameters set accordingly with what I think I do right now, I think it's fine. At least it's giving me everything I want. So now I just need to determine out of these three variables, which one returned me a value and return that value. So I think we don't even need, we can obviously add the master list, but in this instance, I don't even think we need it really. What happens if you have one list with two items of the same item number? That never happens. Every item has a unique item number per our program. When you add an item, we have a generate item number function here where we try to access the last item in our list and our items and our item number in our items list. So I will have to actually edit this function because this is only adding to the end of the items list and I need to add into the end of all three. So maybe I should have the master for this part. I need to reference a master list to get the item number of the last one of all three combined. Or I can do this. The length of all items plus the length of for sale items come on. Okay, whatever. Plus the length of all items for sale items plus the length of sold items or all items sold items And then we'll say, we'll go like this, try. We don't even need this. Don't even need this. We'll say return length of all these plus 1. There we go. That will count for that. Boom. Boom. All right, what happens if you have, how will you take care of that? What happens if you have one list with 2 items? Okay. Instead of a try/catch in the binary search function, you can just make sure mid is less than the length of the list. Instead of the try catch, mid if mid would be less than the length, instead of the try catch in the binary search function, you can just make sure mid is less than the length of the list. Okay, that's a good idea. So instead of index error return none in the try, we're going to get mid. We're going to say if mid less than if mid less than the length of all items item type, then do the following, like that. So else we're going to get a mid value. If mid is less than the length of all items, meaning that we have an appropriate mid value, then we go ahead and get the index inside of that list of mid. So we now know that mid will be less than, and it will be included, and so we won't get that index error no matter what. Cool. Thank you so much for that suggestion, SS at low RL. Appreciate you. Anthony says found item equals next item for item in found item 1. Okay, if item. Okay, let's implement that. So now we have this. So we'll say for item in found item 1, found item 2, and found item 3. Oh, no, hold on. Found item is equal to next for item in find item. Next item for item. Okay, so we have a tuple comprehension here for nexting over blank values until we return a value that's found. And so we'll print, thank you for that, Anthony, found item, just like so. So I want to first, let's go ahead and try this. Oh, I forgot the condition at the end. Oh, if item. Okay. Lakshmi, appreciate you joining, and I thank you so much for finding the channel and joining. It's good to hear from you. Hope you're doing well. Shoot, go ahead, ask away. No worries. The try catch isn't necessary. Mid will always be in bounds in our binary search. Okay, so now I want to make sure that our add item or our item number function, generate item, this, right? Instead of accessing the individual list, I'm adding the lengths of all the lists together and going up by one to determine the next item number. So, right, if we have 20 in this list, we have 5 in this list, and we have 5 in this list, we have a total of 30, right? And that resembles our largest item number here in the sold items just by how it is ordered right now. So we would create the next item in this list. So if I went and did item, okay, so let's run this. Yes. Inventory. Let's add an item. Uh, dummy cost 10, item size medium, yes. Today's date quantity 1. Okay, main menu, exit, yes. This should give us item number 31. No. Dang it. What the heck? Generate item number 1, inventory, add item, new, 1, medium, yes, 1, 4, 3, yes. No, it's not being created. Uh, okay, so our generate item number is returning the length of all of the items list, all items list, and the sold items list plus 1. So I don't know why we're not getting items now. Inventory, add item, new, 1, medium, yes, 1, 4. 3. I didn't change anything about this function, so I don't know why it would be item number that's being returned. Why? I didn't change anything about my add item function. So why am I append. What is going on? Why am I not getting adding new items? You didn't see your print statement because you put it in the if block checking quantity. Oh, new one, medium, yes. Mm. Okay, we need to add a quantity greater than one. Okay, it was generated. Why is it working now? I didn't change anything. What? Oh, the quantity has to be greater than one for me to make a new item. So I can't add a single item anymore. That's why. Okay, so I made this needs to be equal to, greater than or equal to, because I added in, I guess I edited this quantity to where I no longer was being allowed to add in just one item. So now if I add in just one item, inventory, add item, item name, test, cost, 10, medium, today's date, quantity, 1, and there we go, main menu, exit, yes, items, we got 31, 35, 32. Cool, awesome, that worked. Okay, we fixed that. Whew, thought we broke something, guys. Thought we broke something, but we're good. Okay. Okay, so, and we are successfully, right, detecting that 30, right, despite having 20 in this list, it will recognize that our largest item number is 30 and it's in our sold items. And so we are adding in new items starting at 31 into our new list here, into our items list. Instead of generating a new ID, try doing GUID, as it is much more accurate for ensuring uniqueness. I've honestly never heard of GUID. What is that? Like I said, I've only been doing this for about 6 months, so oh, so Airsick Titan, I get what you're trying to say. So we had this problem about a week ago. So about a week ago, um, we ran into this problem because uh, if you think about it, with how at least because I currently I'm building this because I also run a small business. Me and my girlfriend, we run like a secondhand clothing resale business where we resell, um, you know, uh, very vintage clothing. My girlfriend has a very hobby for collecting and gathering vintage clothing, and so and then we just not resell but rehome. We offer very good prices for the clothing because they are secondhand. We want them to be resourced and upcycled and stuff. So that's part of our business model. And so for our specific purposes, is I'm kind of using us as the model. Is we never have a we typically never have duplicate items now because every item is unique in the case that I never get typically more 99% of the time we never find two of the same shirt, two of the same skirt because these are vintage items. These are all unique old items, right? um so the um So just by that note, every item that we generate or we take in from, like, say, let's say we source an item, it is always unique in our eyes just because we rarely ever get duplicates. Now, I did add the option to have a duplicated item of that same size, of that same price, on that same day for a business owner or manager that does have inventory for that. So at the beginning of my development of this class, the item class, I had an attribute in here as quantity, which was a counter for how many. But we came into an issue because quantity is a plural form of account, right? And our class item, it was kind of like comparing apples to oranges. Our class item is in a singular format. It is a singular item object, and so having a quantity associated with it was causing the item number issue to arise. We'd have to search by ID associated with it by like name, or we'd have to give it like a hyphenated, like a zeros item 10.2 or some sort of 10 underscore 1, some sort of additional, or we'd have to have maybe a part number and a lot number, or an item number and a sub lot number of that item number. So just for simplicity's sake and to keep it more generalized and universal, I just made it every new item you receive has a unique number, and whether it is a duplicate of an item or not. And I do allow for duplicates, but they have unique ID numbers. Sorry about that ramble. um, Instead of generating a new ID, try doing GUID. It's much more accurate. That way you can have a new column called quantity instead of creating five of the same thing. You create one that has a five total. GUID is more for databases, but it generates a unique identifier. GUID is a way of creating a unique ID. Won't work here because then we can't search for the item. You search by name instead of ID, but I see the problem. Why would that be an issue? The ID is only unique way Why would that be an issue? The ID is the only a unique way to identify a specific item, not represent the count of total items. Well, because then I would have to extrapolate the quantity for the total amount, and I would also then have to reduce that stock by one via the quantity. So I just found it much more easier to have it be a single cell for a single item rather than having a cell contain duplicate items of the same part with different lots. But you definitely could do it that way if you just wanted more information directly associated um, the single object, right? But you would just be creating less objects. Um, and again, for my purposes of the business that we run, is that we never receive typically duplicated items. Like, you would have to find the same shirt on the same day for the same price to make the duplicated item, right? So it would be easier, and normally that doesn't happen. So it would just be easier. Oh, if I found like a similar shirt Or I ended up did finding the same shirt, but on a different day, I just create a new object with a new item number, and maybe it has a different size too, right? Hey Jefferson, I appreciate you coming in. Peruvian, that's really awesome. Let's say you do have duplicate items. Now you'd have to check the entire list of, let's say you do have duplicate items. Now you'd have to check the entire list for duplicates. Yeah, well, and the duplicate, you would have to check the entire list, but you could check it intuitively, um, via like a section. If you find one, you could check around it because the duplicates are going to be, um, probably, in a similar vicinity as the other, um, the other areas. As you can see, duplicates are generated, they're generated together. And so you could probably search but yeah, you'd have to definitely, yeah. Sometimes the easy way is harder or would incur technical debt. Technical debt is basically just a term that means how much more work you are going to maintain in updating the code. That would still make the search O of n in worst case. If you go the harder route in the long run, it'd be easier for the user experience. Yeah, that's true. That would still make the search O of n in the worst case if you're looking for a duplicate item, but I'm not sure why you would be looking for a duplicate item. I mean, like you if you want to know how many you have left, maybe, but I mean, if it's in your database and you just convert it over to a for sale item, and then I'm thinking of it as like, oh, like from a business owner's perspective, all I really care about is, yeah, I care about all this other data, but for actually making the transaction from item to for sale to sold item, all I need is the item number, and I can just transition that item into the next category. Um, and so I don't really care if it's a duplicated item. I mean, if it's sold, it just gets transitioned. I just go find item number 36. I don't care if item number 35 was the same item. If item 36 sold, or I'm sorry, I don't care that item 33 and item 34 are the same item. If item 34 sold, then boom, it's sold. And it just gets transitioned over. Now, there's just no way currently to track stock, but my current business model, we don't have stock of multiple of the same item. Like I said, each item is 99% of the time, every item we get is completely unique. So it's just more of like a edge case, I guess, for different types of user experiences. So you could have it more streamlined for a broader general sense. I mean, yeah. What do you guys think about that? Um, so I mean, if we were to add a quantity attribute, well, what about this, guys? What if we made a quantity attribute here that was just a physical counter that was predetermined by this creation of quantity? Meaning that we assign this quantity to whatever it is, and then we update that value if we make a sale for that stock. So we definitely, I think we could put quantity back in to our instance variables and our attributes, and then just leave it as a blank. Why not just have another column is sold? You mean like another instance variable of is sold? Yeah, so we brought this up. So I mean, it's kind of like any way of going about it is I just decided to I was learning about parent-child classes that day, so I just decided to implement the system using parent-child classes rather than just a single class and then having it have all of these optional parameters that you could switch on and off determining the status of the sale. So I just thought about transitioning it from one object to the next would be a way of doing it. I mean, is there any sort of like cost or like really do you guys think that I should just now it just sucks because I'm gonna have to like kind of start over, it seems like I would have to rewrite my entire program. Well, exactly. Like as Airsick Titan has, the way my current setup is for this business model is I don't need stock. Like I don't need to track like quantities of on the individual level. I so yeah, I don't have different stores. It's just one place. Yeah. So we're kind of think. I like the way we're thinking about this. We're thinking just from the user's point of view and trying to determine is what kind of business model they have and so this business model that I'm kind of making it for. You wrote this program to learn, so I think mistakes are bound to happen, but I think the design you have for your data makes it harder to work with. Okay. Yeah. So Dink or Honor, yo, what's up? Or Dan, is it Dan or Dink? I can't. I always get it wrong. Thank you so much. Yeah, we are grinding away here into the AMs. It's the weekend, so I liked it's my chance to get time to myself here and work on these things without the pressures of I got to go to bed. I have to be able to work tomorrow. So I gotta take advantage of these moments. Thank you so much for joining me. So do you guys think I should just wipe the for sale item and the sold item and just create an item, add all the attributes that are unique to the other items into the item, set them as flags, basically, and then I would just have to basically edit the loading and saving and the find and that's it. I wouldn't have to do too much. I would have to put in a few hours of adjusting this structure. But on the other hand, I was kind of also happy that I was using parent-child classes. I was getting some experience with them. But in the greater sake of the program for longevity's sake, because I do want to be able to use this and continually add features, should we just bite the bullet maybe tomorrow? What do you guys think? Date sold, for sale, is sold. Yeah, so I would need to carry over the listing price, the date listed. I would need to carry over the sold price and the date sold. So I'd add four additional attributes to the item class. In my opinion, I think you can continue with the way you have it set up, but for the future, I think about it in the long. But for the future, think about it in the longer run. Well, I'm just thinking about it now. If we're already having trouble finding working around the angles that we're wanting now, it's only going to get worse from here. The more and more features we add, the more and more stuff we're touching, the more and more part branches of this program we are intersecting with, the harder it's going to be. Okay, so I think I'm warming up to that idea, you guys. So I think what we'll do tomorrow, I'm about to call. I'll stop the stream today at 1 a.m. We've been going for we've been streaming a lot today. It was an extremely successful day today. But I think what we'll do for tomorrow is I will remove the for sale items class. I will remove the sold items class. I will add the attributes needed for tracking for sale transition and sold item transition into a general item class. I will then update my load file function to no longer read for sale items and sold items. That'll be easy. It's pretty much just deleting that part. And then I'll update my save file. Or I kind of like having. Do you guys like the idea of having three files for, or do you think it's just unnecessary and is kind of overkill? I kind of like it for the distinction. You should write what you're saying right now so you don't forget. Like write, like you want me to code it right now, or or write it on paper. I don't think I have the bandwidth to code it right now. I'm running out of steam really fast. uh, you guys have been really great though. The support and the interaction. Anthony and Sick Titan, and Dank and who else? Oh, I totally forgot to respond to his comment. Oh my god, I feel so stupid. Lakshmi, Lakshmi, I'm really, really sorry. I skipped over your comment. I was just getting into the thick of things. He said, thanks for replying. I'm doing good. I'm practicing Python, but when I start coding small Python games, I'm facing difficulty in breaking the code into fragmented pieces or writing small chunks. Um, he says, I am unable to invoke that thought and getting bored while just copying the code from ChatGPT. By doing this way, I'm not able to enjoy coding. Can you suggest to me? Yeah, you really really have to discipline yourself when you use ChatGPT, especially as a beginner. It's very easy to fall down the rabbit hole of copy paste, and so you have to remain disciplined and respect the tool that's provided to you. Just like with other, it can be dangerous. Just like with any, you have to respect it's a tool, and tools are dangerous in some if used incorrectly. So it can be extremely dangerous to your personal learning if you're just copy and pasting and not actually applying what it's saying. Because you can quickly fall down this rabbit hole of, oh, I'm making projects, but I actually don't have any idea about what I've actually made. And so when you have to go back and edit things, you just can't do it. And so, you know, take like for how I use GPT is I will specifically ask it most times, do not show me code. Walk me through step by step. Break this down. Um, explicitly not asking it to show you code is a great way to have it to try to take what it says and then break it down in your own head and then apply it. It's definitely harder than it sounds. Obviously, it is hard to do, but once you get into the habit of using AI as just a reference or a teacher to ask questions to rather than a cheat sheet, it's extremely useful. No, like comment or something. Okay. Okay, let me go ahead and I'll open up my stickies here. So let's say, oh, okay, so on 12/15, we will need to refactor the item class to encompass all attributes associated with item chain of chain slash life cycle. Remove child class instances general creating new instance variables under the item class to flag these shifts in status from item to for sale item to sold item, right? So we're going to need to refactor the item class to encompass all attributes associated with the item life cycle chain. So we will remove all child instances, creating new instance variables under the item class to, quote, flag these shifts in status from item to for sale item to sold item. We will then need to update the load file and save file functions, removing the file creation and reading of for sale item and sold items. Yes, Wasil, the grind is real. We are really going for it. My butt is glued to this chair. I'm slowly becoming one with the chair. No, I really appreciate you guys, staying with me this evening. It makes this 1,000 times more enjoyable. I love doing this. I get a lot of enjoyment out of doing this, solo. But being 1 a.m. and being able to still talk to people about this and discuss it, on a deeper, more technical level is just like where else could you be able to do this right now, right? This is just fantastic. So thank you guys. Uh, it's 1 a.m. for me. At some point, definitely learn about designing relational databases. Just the basics should be enough. It'll help you think about it much more clearly. Do you have any like books? I'm really heavy, like as you know, on reading the textbooks. I think that they're really good for the stream content wise, and breaking down, providing content and providing practice and things like that. So do you have any potential books like that on databases that you would suggest that maybe you were given in college or things like that? Um, yeah, I'm really into the books right now, but or maybe videos too I can check out. But if database is definitely um, something we need to focus on. Okay, so then we'll obviously have to edit the so then we need to update the all items database for the for only items have the keys be saved as the item number. And the value be the object itself. Okay. Database System Concepts by Anthony. Are you by chance in the Discord? If you're not, you should definitely join so we can chat. I'm gonna I'm gonna send this to myself so I don't forget. Database systems design. This is what I used at university. Okay. Thank you so much for that. I'm saving that right now. Send it to my girlfriend as a text message so I can read it back later. She's gonna be like, "What the heck is this?" I learned it on the job, but I haven't read it. Hey, Anaj, or is it Ane? I'm sorry, I'm really bad at pronouncing stuff. Ane, I think it's Ane. I really appreciate you joining. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in. Yeah, if you want to send me a personal message, feel free to either do it on YouTube or you can send me a message on Discord and join the Discord link below. Yeah, the Discord link below is just a compilation of all of my study resources, all the PDFs I'm using for the textbooks, links to my personal notes, everything. It's all, the main purpose is just provide the viewers with all of the resources I'm doing on the stream, and just have a central location for everything to be. Jonah, thanks so much for joining. I appreciate you coming in this evening. It's 1 a.m., so thanks so much for powering through with me. Cheers, brother. I'm learning Kotlin right now. Awesome. I have no experience with Kotlin. I've never even seen a line in it, so that's really interesting. How's that going for you? Okay, anything else that we think we need to update for this? Did you learn anything in college, or is this all off the cuff learning? Yeah, for those that are new, my name is Michael. I'm 25, going on 26 years old. I graduated college in 2021, so 3 years ago when I was 23 years old, or 20. I was 22 at the time when I graduated. 22 going on 23. Graduated back in the end of 2021, and just right after college, I got a job. Sorry, I have a bachelor's of science in human biology and a minor in chemistry. I focused heavily on the cellular aspects of human biology on a physiological level, mainly the chemistry. And I got a job very shortly after college, as a formulation chemist for a biotech company where I'm currently a mid scientist two level. I'm a scientist two, mid level scientist, chemist for this company, and I make biological controls used in patient diagnostics and testing. So, if you have a physician or a hospital or a clinic testing patient samples, and they need to verify their accuracy of their calibrations, their testing, their reagents, their physical tests, um, results, they run my controls against it, and which my controls also have verified values that I provide via my testing and my data analysis. And then, yeah, they have the peace of mind knowing that they can provide their patients with proper diagnosis because they have a control that backs up their claim. So, yeah, so it's just part of that whole scientific method thing, applying it to hospitals and patients and biological stuff. So yeah, that's my job, and so all this is off the cuff learning. This is all independent, all self motivated. I'm not in college anymore. I'm not. I don't. I would. I'm thinking about maybe going back and finishing up a 2 year, getting a computer science degree at my alma mater. It would only take me about. I already contacted the counselor. It would only take me about 2 years to do, considering I already have a bachelor of science in the STEM field. I have a lot of the prerequisites already done, so it would just be mainly the upper level, more core focused classes, junior and up. But and obviously those introductory programming classes probably. But anyways, that's kind of I haven't gotten too much more thought into going back to school or whatnot. But yeah, all this is just self learning, and if I ever do go back to school, I'll be very well equipped for those classes, and I think I would excel quite. I don't know if I would excel, but I think I do quite well with the bringing in this knowledge and this passion that I'm bringing in. So if I do go down that road, great, I'll be set up for success. But otherwise, I have a degree in a field I enjoy, and I can just further gain skills in the meantime to pursue other passions and just overall improve as a scientist with more skills. It never hurts to learn programming as a scientist, right? So. But anyway, you guys, it's currently 1 a.m. I really appreciate you guys joining me today. I streamed this morning about 10 a.m. PST for about 2.5 hours, and then I got on this evening at around 9 p.m. 9:30, and I've been streaming for about 3.5. So we did about a little over 6 hours today of streaming and learning and studying this stuff. We completed in the morning. We completed the chapter 4 on recursion in data structures and algorithms in Python. For those that don't know, at the beginning of all my streams, I typically will dive into learning by reading aloud, audiobook style, and working through problems out of these hard collegiate level textbooks. These are pretty difficult to follow contextually and break things down, but we use various resources. Obviously, people in the chat with experience help provide things. AI, Jeopardy, the almighty orb. We break things down. We practice them. We don't move on unless we actually understand them, because this is all independent. We don't need to. We don't need to force ourselves to move on because we have a test in 2 weeks. No, no, no. We're going to solidify all these concepts, not leave any gaps, so that we can have this foundation moving forward. And this is the Data Structures and Algorithms in Python book. This is a DSA specifically for that in Python. We just finished chapter 4 recursion, and then tomorrow morning I'm going to start working on these chapter 4 reinforcement problems that we complete at the end of every chapter. So we in chapter 3 there was 34 of them we completed. So not that many in this one, but recursion is definitely a more dense topic, so it might be a little bit more difficult. Um, and then obviously in the back half of my streams, we work on independent passion projects. So we were successful in implementing a binary search mechanism, and so I'm really proud that we were able to actually take what we're learning from the DSA book and make a binary search algorithm that was successful. But we obviously have a lot of updates that we need to make to this program to be more future proof. Thanks to all the suggestions from people in the chat. We might just, it's better, I think, if we just bite the bullet now or tomorrow, change the program a little bit to be way more user friendly, programmer friendly in the future. So it'll just set us up for success if we just take 2 hours tomorrow, change things around, and then go from there. But yeah, so tomorrow morning I'm going to come on, stream probably around 10 or 11 PST, and I'll stream probably until about 5, 6 p.m. And then I might take a break for dinner, and then I might even come back on after that and do another double feature tomorrow. So, um, you know, like I said, I do have a 9 to 5 job. I stream throughout the week. I try to stream every day throughout the week from 7 o'clock to 9:30, maybe 10:30 sometimes if I'm really into it. But then I'll stream on the weekends. So we've been growing the channel really rapidly and learning just a ton of material. And I really enjoy interacting with you guys and making a lot of friends on here. So again, if you're new, feel free to join the Discord link below, where I conglomerate and compile all of my study resources from these PDFs, such as DSA in Python, Python Crash Course, Fluent Python, all these really necessary textbooks for learning this material. Yeah, and thanks so much for joining me, guys. This channel has really taken off. We're almost to 500 subscribers. We just hit 400 like 2 days ago. It's just insane. Like, you guys are showing so much support, and I just love getting and working on this stuff and getting in front of you guys. And I know I put in a lot of hours, and so I don't want you guys to also feel that, you know, discouraged in your own programming. I do put in a lot of hours, just because I don't have a lot of responsibilities. I am a 26-year-old with no kids. I have a girlfriend. I have a job, but and my girlfriend also works, and so I just have a lot of time to be able to commit to this, than maybe the average person doesn't. And that's why I wanted to do the stream as well, because I could maybe create a community and use it as additional resources. And so, anyways, just take your own learning at your own pace, obviously, and we'll do this together. Jonah says, I'm taking Python next semester, and the virtual learning materials we're using is called Zybooks Python. Yeah, I've heard of Zybooks before. I think those are used a lot in like college and stuff, right? For submitting your code and everything like that, right? I wonder how well I would do if I took like a college level Python course right now. Like, just if I could perform pretty well, or like if I was given a final project and a final, like an introductory collegiate level Python course, or if I could do it. I'm really curious. So, anyways, I'll be back here tomorrow around, between 10 or noon tomorrow, PST, and then we'll be streaming for 5 or 6 hours, and then I'll come back maybe after dinner and do another session. But again, guys, I really enjoy doing this. I'm having a ton of fun learning. I'm really like I've got a super big fire under my butt right now because I love taking in this information. I'm feeling really, you know, motivated. So, anyways, um, I appreciate you guys. I'm sorry I've been rambling for the past like 10 minutes, but thank you guys. I'm gonna go hit the hay. I'm pretty tired for today, but you guys take it easy. Again, thank you. Have a great week. Have a great night.